Ever wondered what really happens when you hit run on your Python code? Let's pull back the curtain and see exactly how your computer turns simple text into powerful actions. Okay, so you and I, we look at this and we see simple math, right? Easy. But to a computer, at first, this is just a bunch of random symbols. It's basically gibberish. Before Python can do any calculations, it first has to figure out how to even read what we wrote. So this first big step is all about translation. We're going to see how Python takes that raw text and starts to make sense of it. And you know what? It's surprisingly similar to how we all learned to read in the first place. Take a look at this. It's a total headache to read, isn't it? Just one long, jumbled mess of letters. I mean, you could probably puzzle it out, sure, but wow, it takes way more brain power than it should. But now, look at this. Much better. Just by adding a few simple spaces, everything clicks into place. Each word is separate and the meaning is crystal clear. Well, a computer needs that exact same kind of separation to understand our code. And that process, it's got a name: tokenization. So tokenization, it's the very, very first thing Python's interpreter does. The interpreter is basically the program that runs your code. It scans everything you wrote from left to right, and its whole job is to break that long string of text into these little meaningful chunks. And we call these chunks tokens. A token is just a word, a number, or a symbol that Python actually recognizes. Let's go back to our simple line of code. To Python, this isn't one big instruction. Nope. It's actually 5 separate things. It sees the word price, then the equal sign, then the number 10, the plus sign, and finally the number 5. Each one of these is its own little token, its own fundamental piece of the puzzle. And here's the really cool part. No matter how huge or complex a Python program gets, every single piece of it is built from just 5 basic types of tokens. That's it. If you get these 5, it's kind of like learning the entire alphabet of the language. Okay, let's break them down real quick. First up, an identifier. That's any name you make up, like our variable price. Then you've got operators, which are symbols that do stuff, like the plus sign. Delimiters are all about structure. The equal sign is a perfect example. It's for assignment. Next up, literals. These are just fixed, concrete values like the actual numbers 10 and 5. And finally, comments, which are just notes for us humans that Python completely ignores. And that's the whole shebang. Every Python script is built from just these 5 things. All right, we've got tokens down, so let's talk about something everyone knows is a big deal in Python: spacing. But the rules around whitespace might be a little different from what you've heard. Most of the time, spaces and new lines are just there to separate tokens and make the code readable for us. You could put like 5 spaces around a plus sign, and Python really wouldn't care one bit. But there is one massive exception where space is absolutely critical. I'm talking about the white space at the beginning of a line, indentation. This isn't just for making your code look pretty. Python actually reads it and turns it into a special kind of token. When it sees that extra space, it creates an indent token. And when the space goes away, it creates a dedent token. This is the secret sauce for how Python groups blocks of code together. It's why we don't need all those curly braces you see in other languages. Okay, so Python separates code into tokens. But what happens when it sees something like a double equal sign? How does it know that's one thing and not 2 separate equal signs? Well, it uses a really simple but super smart principle: the longest match rule. You can think of Python's tokenizer as being kind of greedy. When it starts seeing characters that could form a symbol, it tries to gobble up as many as it can to make the longest valid token it recognizes. So it sees one equal sign and immediately checks, hey, is the next character also an equal sign? If it is, boom, it grabs both and creates the single equals equals token for comparison. This simple rule avoids a ton of confusion. So phase 1 is done. Our code isn't just text anymore. It's a nice, clean stream of tokens. Now the execution engine takes over. And let me tell you, in modern Python, this engine has gotten incredibly smart. Yeah, since version 3.11, Python uses something called a specializing adaptive interpreter. I know, that's a mouthful, but just think of it like a smart engine that's constantly watching your code as it runs, actively learning how to make it faster on the fly. So here's how this magic works. As your code is running, Python keeps an eye out for the hot sections, the parts that get used over and over again. Once it finds one, it does something amazing.
It dynamically swaps out the generic one-size-fits-all instructions with super fast, specialized versions that are tailor-made for the exact type of data you're using. The result? Your code can literally get faster the more it runs. It's a total game changer for performance.
So, why should you care about all this internal stuff? Is this just theory? Absolutely not. Understanding what's happening under the hood has a direct impact on how you write code and, maybe more importantly, how you debug it. Knowing about tokens is your secret weapon for fixing bugs faster. Because when something goes wrong, Python doesn't just think in terms of lines, it thinks in terms of the exact token that caused the problem. Just take a look at this error message from a modern version of Python. In the old days, Python would have just told you the error was somewhere on line 6, leaving you to guess which part was the problem. But now, it's surgically precise. Notice those carets? The little VVV symbols? They aren't just underlining the line, they are pointing to the specific token, the identifier .1. That was the problem. The interpreter knows this exact token evaluated to none, which caused the crash. This takes all the guesswork out of debugging and helps you fix the problem instantly. So the next time you write or debug a program, try to look at it differently. Don't just see a wall of text. See the individual building blocks, the identifiers, operators, and literals that Python sees. When you start to see your code as a sequence of tokens, you're one step closer to thinking like the interpreter itself.